Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I got a special guest with me for this part of it. She wanted to see how all this is done, so I figured I'd put her in here. She thinks it's pretty neat. So anyway, got the subs here, got the plywood here. I also have the old stereo for this truck in here. Took it out a long time ago just because it was sitting outside and I didn't want somebody breaking into the truck, stealing it or anything like that. So that needs to go back in as well, but for now we'll get this stuff out of the way and we'll get to making this sub box. What do you think? Yeah? Okay. Now before I get started on this box, I did want to preface a couple things with this truck. It isn't any kind of stereo competition truck or some crazy build, obviously. It's all I'm going to go for with this box is just a normal sealed box, good size for these subs. I'll look in here and see what their spec is, but if it's anything close to the Type R, I want to say it's around a cubic foot on a sealed box. So I'll show you a little trick here that I've always used when building these boxes. Get the sub out of the way here. That's actually not the important part right now. This guy right here is. One of the nice things that they do when they send you a new sub is they send you packaging. And this cutout right here works great as a template for your sub. I've done this on almost every box I've ever built because it just is the exact right dimensions. I don't need any special tools to do it, just a pencil and my cutout. So when the time comes here, and I'm ready to start cutting out my holes, I'll do a little math, space it all out where I want it, and then trace it out on this. Also, to give you guys a quick idea how old most of this build is on this truck, you can see the date right there. I'm going to start off building just the face plate of the sub box. That's probably the most intricate part, definitely the most intricate part of building the sub box. You're going to have, obviously your dimensions, but then you also have the cutouts for the subs themselves. Everything else is basically a rectangle. So pretty easy stuff, and we'll get started here. Drew a rectangle. Woohoo! Alright, I'll bring you in here for a little bit closer look at what I got going on. It's basically just a bunch of pencil marks right now, but you'll see in a second what it all means. Alright, so there's all my marks as of right now. You kind of get an idea what I got going on. I got my center line going here, center line of the vertical and the horizontal on both, and that gives me locators to line this all up. You can kind of see just for throwing it down on here, that one, that one. I'll square it up just a bit more and draw my circle. Alright, so all I'm going to do is just get this centered up, get all my marks lined up, and then trace it in there. There's one down, get the other one. Alright, there we go. Easy enough for the first one. And like I said, about the hardest one to do. The rest of them is basically just duplicating a big rectangle like this, and then once I get all the pieces cut, start assembling it. Alright. Yep, still works, so let's get to it on this. Easy as that. Just shakes your arm to death. I'll keep going, I'll get the other one done, and we'll be ready to cut this piece out. Okay, there we go. 2 holes cut. We'll grab a sub, test fit them, make sure it's okay. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if my old trick worked. Like champ. Sitting perfectly flush. Got just a hair of gap around the legs of the basket on it. Perfect. It's exactly what I want. I will come back a little bit, obviously, clean that up with some sandpaper, smooth the edges, just make sure everything's good. But for now, it's looking great. We'll get the piece cut out. There we go, piece 1 of a lot. So I'll keep going, marking out pieces, but this is a good start. Already you can see sheet's getting quite a bit smaller. Got one more bigger piece to cut, and then the back plate for it, and then the divider, and we're pretty much done cutting pieces. Right, well, as you can see, I got it kind of rough together here. Obviously nothing's fastened yet, but at this point what I like to do is just test fit it together for 2 reasons, really. The first one is it's just kind of fun to see it start to come together, but then really the second reason is you can make sure that you don't have any weird gaps anywhere, anything you need to kind of square up a little more. So far everything's looking pretty good. The only piece I really have left to cut is this back piece here, and we'll be ready to start gluing and screwing. Alright, well, the last piece is cut. It's actually just sitting under here. Just test fit it again, just to make sure everything looked okay. And I brought my helper back for this one. What do you think? Does it look okay? Yeah, it looks okay. Anything else?
Make sure to subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe. Okay. Alright. I think that was it. They got ice cream to eat, so we'll get to putting this together. Alright, a couple quick little bits before I get to putting this thing together. I did cut out on the one side the pocket for my speaker inputs. I just snagged the old one out of my old sub box. Probably have to clean up those terminals a little bit, but it'll work just fine. And then the divider board, I just drilled a small hole in, and again snagged the old speaker wire out of the old box, and I'll just feed those down through there and seal up the hole between the 2 sides. So other than that, we're about ready to start putting this thing together. One thing I do like to do, it does take a little bit of extra time, is I go through with a little tiny drill bit and pre-drill all my holes. So I'll start mocking up a couple sides, pre-drill some holes, and start shooting some screws in. As I first get started here, obviously I'm changing back and forth from my drill bit to my driver bit. That's just to get a couple in here to hold the thing up. After I'm not worried about it falling apart, then I'll go through and pre-drill the rest of them and start stinking screws. That's not what I was going for. Broke the bit. I'll have to switch to another one. Alright, there we go. One side all screwed, glued. Now to keep going. Alright, this is the part where those lines I drew earlier are going to start coming in handy, like that one there. I'm doing these semi-blind, And so I have a line marked on that side, a line marked on this side, where I know where the center line of this board is, as well as on the bottom side of this board, and then also the top board. Same goes for the divider. I have it obviously marked here. I have center line marked there, and along the back side of the back plate there. I'm going to start drilling those holes and getting some screws sunk in there. Time to start sinking some screws in it. Alright, I got the divider all drilled and screwed in. I'm going to go through and seal up the inside of this box as much as I can now before I put the back cover on it, and then I'll go in through the sub holes and seal around these openings here. So let's get after it. Alright, that's it. I'll go around and spread it around. As far as I'm concerned, from this end of it, there's no such thing as too much. I can smear it all around in there, and it just helps seal it up and hold it all together. So the more I can get in there, the better off I am, like I said, in my opinion. So I'll go around and do that, and then we'll come back and put this back plate on. Alright, the back is in. I'm going to go through and seal it up real quick. Throw the connector in for the speaker wires, throw the center speaker wire in to run over to the other sub, and seal that up, and then we should be done. Okay, almost there. We'll get this thrown in, and the other piece of speaker wire there, and we'll be good to go. Okay, not too bad. It's the old twist style terminals. I like those a lot. Makes everything easy. Okay, last piece of the puzzle here. I'll fish this through, and we should be good to go. Perfect timing. This thing's done. Alright guys, well, I think that'll probably have to do it for this time. I'll end up making this into a two-part video. I gotta give the liquid nails time to dry. That takes 24 hours. And then I'll move on to the finishing of the box. What I'm probably going to do here is the outside will get coated in just spray-on bed liner. A lot of thick coats of that to help protect it if any water were to get on it or anything. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do as far as the face of it. The old sub box I just had covered in some fabric to match the interior of the truck, and that looked pretty good, but I don't know if I want to go that route or not. I do have some leftover 1/2 inch from another project that I had thought about doing something a little different in here, kind of making it look like the subs are recessed in, just another plate over the front. But I may play around with that off camera here, and we'll see for the next video what I come up with. But anyway, like I said, that should do it for this one. We'll be back with you shortly in the next installment of this thing. If you made it this far, I definitely appreciate you hanging out, and hope you make it back for the next one to see the finished product installed in the truck. So if you made it this far, do me a favor, go down, hit the like button on the video. It really means a lot to me, and it also gives me motivation to keep going on projects like this. It lets me know you guys are excited to see it. Anyway, that should do it for this video, and like I said, we'll be coming back at you hopefully sooner rather than later with the next installment of this. Thanks.